Good morning everybody. Today's word was climb. It's funny because the second I read this, I was immediately reminded of something that only happened a little bit earlier this year. Basically, me and my partner went for a walk around Pendle in the northwest of England, and the thing that Pendleton is famous for is the Pendle Witch Trails. And I'll be honest, I don't really know much about it, even though I live quite nearby. But I did know that there was a trail around there that you could follow, so we both went up there to see what it was like. Now, we were trekking through all of these different farms and trying to follow it as best as we could, and we ended up climbing up this massive hill. I had no idea that there was this massive hill. We were looking for reservoirs, which when we went back there we found quite easily, which I have no idea how we didn't find them the first time. But anyway, we ended up well up this Pendle hill, and it was absolutely knackering. I was so tired. I've never felt more unfit in my life. But we did it, we got up there, and it was ridiculously windy. You know, it was summer and it was freezing up there, but the view was absolutely amazing. You know, if you're ever randomly in that situation where you can get up that hill, you should do it just to see. You know, you can see all the lakes, you can see so much. You know, and this wasn't like the most cloudless day ever, but you could just see so far. It was an amazing view. Anyway, as we basically tried to escape all of the gale force winds up there, and we were descending that big hill and just trying to find somewhere to eat, we saw a load of goats. All these, it was a little family of goats, and they were walking along this ledge that just didn't seem to exist. I don't know how mountain goats do it, but it's just bizarre how they can walk on nothing. They were there just all shimmying along in this rock face, and we saw one of them, as you know, just taking it a bit slower over this gap. The one behind him kept butting him from behind, just kept trying to butt him off the side. And you know, it was funny, but it was a bit like, oh god, he's gonna go flying. And the little one started spinning round and trying to get him back, but he had nowhere to go. And yeah, it was just really funny. And the second I read climb, I immediately thought about that goat and how much of a jerk it was. So I knew I wanted to draw that especially. I mean, I love goats anyway. I think their eyes are just really interesting, and I draw them quite a lot. I think there's something about such a normal looking animal, you know, it's close to just seen as an everyday animal, but it's got really creepy eyes, so I think they're really interesting. And I was looking for an excuse to draw that scene, I guess, so I decided to draw that. Obviously, the setting I ended up drawing was a hell of a lot more treacherous than the one I was on, but I kind of wanted to not add loads and loads of detail. You know, I could easily draw these goats in a nice close-up detailed piece, but I felt like I've done that a few times this month, and it might be something maybe I do in the future, but it's not what I wanted to do today. I wanted to try and keep to black and white because I've been doing quite a few coloured pieces recently, and I wanted to try and denote shade with more blocks of a shade or a colour instead of relying on colour or on pen work. Just to jazz it up a bit, just to make it a bit more interesting for me. And yeah, I was quite happy with how it turned out in the end. I thought it was a nice piece. You know, I ummed and ahed about adding some orange and some red, make it almost canyon-esque, but as I was going, I don't know, I thought it was unnecessary for this time. And yeah, that's really it for today's piece. It's just really inspired by something that happened recently, which I guess a lot of the pieces in a way are, when I think about it. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you again tomorrow.